Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Daryl here, and inside this box, we're going to test out the world's most expensive pickups. All right, you guys, let's open the box and take a look. All right, you guys, enough screwing around. What we have here is the Seymour Duncan ZEYPHR silver pickups, hand wound in the US. They come in this beautiful box, normally attached here, and there's signatures of the people who wound it, and so on and so forth. Very high-end packaging. As you noticed, the pickups are not actually in this box. I'll show you where they are. So the pickups are in here, and as you guys can see, this is from 920D. These guys are the king of loaded pickguards, electronic upgrades, and guitar mods. I've been using them long before I was on YouTube. Let's open it up and take a look. Can I do this without spilling the guard? Ugh. All right, here we go. So I've partnered up with the guys at 920D in two ways. Number one, I got them to wire up this loaded pickguard because there's literally nobody on the planet I trust more to do a high-end job than the guys at 920D, and we need the best pots and switches to go along with these pickups. Secondly, use the code BRAUN20 for 20% off all their best-selling items. We're talking about practical things that musicians actually use, you know, like Strat upgrades, tele upgrades, wiring harnesses, all that kind of stuff. Probably not these ZEYPHR pickups, but hey, we're taking one for the team. So as per usual with all my demos, I'll timestamp each section in the video description below. If you just want to jump to a specific section, feel free to do so. But let's jump in, find out what exactly these ZEYPHR pickups are, what makes them so expensive and so special. Well, let's tackle the elephant in the room. These pickups are crazy expensive. We're talking $333 per pickup. So Strat set, $1,000 US, which is insane. Now there's a reason for this, and we're going to find out whether it's worth it or not, because we're going to talk about how Seymour Duncan describes these pickups, which is kind of funny. But anyway, the reason is these are wound with silver wire. Right, so as you guys know, traditional pickups are wound with copper wire. Not so the Seymour Duncan Zephyrs. They are wound with silver wire, and according to Seymour Duncan, each pickup can have around a mile of silver wire. So what's the big deal about silver wire? Well, silver has the lowest resistance of any known metal to humankind, which means it is the ideal metal to use for pickups. There's only one problem. It's crazy expensive. So according to Seymour Duncan, it has a very fast response time, which makes for a very touch-sensitive pickup. Now, Seymour Duncan definitely deserves huge credit for producing these pickups, taking what might only be done in the lab and mass producing it, so whoever wants to can get them. That's pretty cool. Now, the pamphlet that came along with the ZEYPHR pickups is a little hilarious. It's like an exercise in confirmation bias. These pickups are, really touch responsive. They'll change the whole way your rig sounds. They're fat and bluesy, but they're also clear and glassy. They have tight end, but they also have warm low end. They just list every known possibility, and they say the ZEYPHR pickups can do them. So we're here to find out if that's true or if it's just corporate BS. Right, so that out of the way, I'm going to install these in a Strat. First thing I want to do though is I want to pop a cover off. I want to see these silver windings for myself. All right, you guys, let's take the cover off the ZEYPHR and see this silver wire underneath. Let's see if I can do this with one hand here. Very gently. Check that out. Man, that is so amazing. So yeah, about a mile of silver wire on these ZEYPHR pickups. Let me just grab, a traditional pickup here. Yeah, you guys can really see the difference between, the copper wire and the silver wire. That's what makes these ZEYPHRs so stinking expensive, is all that silver wire. Other than that, it's just traditional like Alnico 5 pole pieces. So it really is just that silver that is supposed to make all the tonal difference and of course account for the expense. Now you guys have no idea how bad I wanted to install these ZEYPHR pickups into like a Squire Mini or a Bullet or something like that. Show up to your buddy's place to jam with a little Squire Mini with these ZEYPHR pickups in and just rock hard. I think that would be hilarious. But anyway, we're not going to do that, at least not today. So we're going to put it in this Select Strat. So one of my favorite Strats, definitely a high-end instrument. So we're going to just, try to hear these pickups in the clearest way possible. We've got that high-end wiring from 920D. We're going to put it into a high-end Strat and see what it sounds like. All right, I'll be back in a second. Next time you see this Strat, it's going to be rocking the Zephyrs. And I'm back. We've got the Zephyrs loaded onto the Select Strat with the clear guard. I think it looks pretty fun. In the future, I'll probably put on a traditional, scratch plate. But for now, I think we're just going to enjoy the clear guard. What we need to do is talk about what we got going on in the electronics and do some tones. Now, when I was chatting with the guys from 920D about the wiring, they're like, Daryl, we have setups for pretty much anything. You want 7-way switching? We got it. Mini toggles? We got it. Series parallel? No problem. And I was like, well, what do you have that's a little simpler, maybe a little bit more classic? So they suggested the Hendrix wiring. So that's what we have in this loaded pickguard. So 3-way switch, just like, Jimmy had, but with a little bit of a twist. We have a separate volume control for the middle pickup, which is a little unique. So, normally with a 3-way switch, you wouldn't have that. But here, if I'm in my neck pickup, I can actually dial in how much of the middle pickup I want to blend. Okay, because it has its own separate volume. If I turn it all the way up, it's just like position 4, hum canceling and everything. And when you dial it back, it's your neck pickup. And that suits me fine because, I'm 90% of the time on the neck pickup or the bridge. So it keeps it really simple. And then if I want to cover a specific song or I want a specific tone, say I want position 2 on a Strat, I'll just dial up this volume. It gives me position 2. So kind of a traditional wiring, but with that little twist. All right, it's time for the moment of truth. We need to find out what these ZEYPHR pickups sound like. So I'm going to plug into my Blue Angel amp, mic'd up with the Earthworks SR25 and the Rode NT1. We're going to go through some clean tones, some overdrive tones, and some dirty tones, and really see if we can kind of nail down what these ZEYPHR pickups sound like. All right, so I've got an overdrive tone dialed in. Let's see how touch responsive and dynamic these pickups are. I'm just going to noodle around a bit, play some softs and louds, and yeah, let's see what these things sound like. Here we go. So my first impressions, yeah, very dynamic pickups, great touch sensitivity, so much dynamic. So, overall, I think that claim is likely true. All right, so now let's check out the bridge pickup with a little bit more gain. So first impressions is this is a very, very smooth bridge pickup. Lots of times on Strats, when you go to the bridge, it is piercing and just like overly bright and ice picky. This is actually really, really smooth on your first and second strings. Get some volume here. So a really pleasing sounding pickup. Now to test out our clean tones, let's do a short 30-second jam. Both the rhythm track and the lead tone will both be clean. Let's take a listen to that. So here are my final thoughts on the Seymour Duncan Zephyr Silver pickups. And as per usual, you're just going to get the straight goods from me. And I don't think the silver is a game changer. Now these are a fantastic set of pickups. They sound really, really good to me. The high end, super controlled, and really all the pickups very, very warm. So you don't get, some of those really harsh transients that you sometimes get from a Strat bridge pickup. Very, very controlled on the Zephyr. Sometimes, Strats can get, and Tellies can get a little wild in the high end. Very controlled, very, very warm. So I think they sound absolutely fantastic. Do I think it's, even worth half the money? I don't think so. Going for, a $50 to $100 set of Alnico pickups, I think you're just as well off, especially, you can EQ your amp and your pedals and all that stuff. But, just plugging straight in with high-end electronics from 920D, I thought they sound really, really amazing, but is it worth the price? Absolutely not. So if you guys haven't subscribed to the channel, you can do so by clicking my face right here. Be sure to use the code BRAUN20 if you head over to 920D's website. I'll link to that in the video description below. T-shirt store will be above or in the video description below as well. Have yourself an amazing day. Take care.